He would say things like, Lisa, God dropped you in the tar pit. And God left you in the oven too long. And I summarize it as, damn, I'm God's mistake? Really? And I remember I'd never seen myself as anything less than anybody. I just didn't have that conversation until I went there. I had been teased every day of the school year. There was this one kid, Brian, and Brian would remind me every day that God had made a mistake when God had created me. And I remember they were having tryouts for Charlie's Angels. Remember Charlie's Angels? You young bucks, I'm not talking about the new ones. I'm talking about the old school Charlie Angels. And they were having tryouts for Charlie's Angels and the Bionic Woman. You remember Lindsay Wagner? Lindsay Wagner was amazing. So when they had tryouts, I said, oh my God, if I try out and I make it and I become one of Charlie's Angels or I become the Bionic Woman, then I belong. And 40 excited girls stepped up to the line to be considered, to do the 3 things that you had to do, the 3, challenges you had to cross in order to become one of the Charlie's Angels or the Bionic Woman. I was the only little chocolate girl there, just looking like a little kiss. Right. So the first event was the 100-yard dash. Ready, set, go. And I ran. When I crossed the finish line, the first person that just hit the 50-yard mark. Lisa Nichols wins the first event. I'm like, yes, 1 down, 2 to go. I'm almost in. I'm almost going to belong. Second event, we want you guys to jump over a chair. But I did something different. When I bent down to go over the chair, I did a little extra. When I came up, I went and I leaped over the chair and I landed, and then I threw some Wonder Woman on. They were confused. They didn't know what hit them. They said, Lisa Nichols won the second event as well. And then the third and final event was the roll, stop, and freeze sucker. And I did it perfect on the dime. So when the final, 8, 9 girls are standing on the line, I'm like, oh my God, my life is going to change right now. I'm going to belong. And so I'm standing on the line, and I'm like, oh, life is about to look way different. Like the first thing I'm going to do is get my other Charlie's Angels girl, get my Bionic Woman, and we're going to go and punch Brian. And so they said, Charlie's Angels number 1. Okay. Diane. Okay, that's not my name. Charlie's Angels number 2. I'm so excited. Teresa. Okay, that's cool. I got 1 more Charlie's Angels or the Bionic Woman. That's all right. It's all right. It's good. Charlie's Angels number 3. Kim. It's good. I like the Bionic Woman anyway. She just shows strength. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. And the Bionic Woman. Yes. The Bionic Woman is Linda. Yeah. That's not my name. I stood there for a moment. I can hear a few boos, a few people upset. And I finally mustered up the nerves to go over to the judges. Why didn't you choose me? I won every single event. I ran the fastest. I roll, stopped, and freeze sucker on the dime, and the asphalt was hot. I jumped over the chair, and I made the sound effects. And one of the judges, long, beautiful blonde hair, she said, Lisa, we know you won every event, but we couldn't choose you. Which Charlie's Angels or the Bionic Woman will you ever look like? And that day was the day that I began to blame myself for my story, for the next 15, all I tried to do was prove I was good enough. Prove I was smart enough. Prove that I was worthy of choosing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And then I discovered that I wanted to begin to use my voice. I could hear this thing in my voice when I spoke. And I said, I think there's something. I think there might be a gift up under all that junk. And I began to try my voice out. And I was in a church, and I was delivering a poem. And at the end of the speech, I got a roaring standing ovation from the 15,000 people that were in this church. It was the biggest standing ovation, biggest audience I'd ever spoke in front of. And as I'm walking through the audience, and all of a sudden I heard this voice that was so familiar with this hand on my shoulder. She said, "You were amazing." And I turned around and I looked, and it was television's bionic woman, Lindsay Wagner. I said, I did you. I bent down, I jumped, I do. No, really, I did that. I said it. I'm not just saying that for y'all. I mean, I was all in my story. Some of us are all in our story. And I looked at her, I said, they said I couldn't be you because I was black. They said I couldn't be you because I'd never look like you. And I knew I could never make myself look like you. I do a lot of things well, but I don't do blonde. She said, "Sweetheart," she said, "I'm an actress." She said, "I'm in Hollywood." She said, "You, with your journey, you are the true bionic woman." Thank you. And something shifted that day. I no longer could fit in my old story. There becomes a time when you no longer fit in your old story. I think that day is today. That there's a new part 2 trying to be born for you. And it requires you to own every part of the past, but own every part of the possibility. And on the other side of that, the diamonds that will drop out of your mouth, the diamonds that will come birthing from your soul, the seeds that will be planted, and the harvest that will grow. You will be barely recognizable, but better than that are the people around you.